Alright, so this is going to be a somewhat quick video. I'm just going to be basically redoing the thermal paste on this MacBook Air. This is model A1466. I believe they use this same model. I'm not sure when they started this model, maybe 2011, and then all the way till like 2017. They might have actually started earlier. Maybe I think they used this since like 2009 or 10. Anyways, we're going to remove all the screws from here using a P5 or Pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver. You want to keep all the screws in order because they are or can be different size, shape, and length. So I do that flat side down like that on my desk. In the pattern I remove them, so we have this rectangular shape. Alright, if this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue removing all these screws. Okay. Last one here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and pop the bottom cover off. I just get my fingers back here and pull this open. Alright, this one did have a battery replaced here. Alright, not too long ago. They said it was kind of running hot towards the back here. And I'm thinking it's probably from whatever they're running is working pretty hard and causing it to get too hot. They didn't say it's overheating, but they said it's running warmer than usual. So we're going to use a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver to undo the screws here holding the heatsink in place. There's 4 screws. I'm going to actually hold this down as I unscrew it. Okay, actually, to be safe, let's go ahead and remove the battery. It's not really necessary, but if you accidentally like touch some components here, it might be a little bit of risk. So let's go ahead and remove it anyways. Okay, there's 5 screws holding the battery in place. Again, they are all different size, shape, and length, so keep them in order. All right. Okay, just 5 screws. We're also actually going to pull out the fan completely just to check underneath. All right, once you get the 5 screws out, I usually will try and lift up from somewhere over here or on the side here. Okay, get underneath. And once you get that out, grab the tab here and then kind of wiggle to pull it. Just like this. And there we go. We got the battery out. We'll set that aside. Okay, next thing we're going to do to be extra safe, we're going to open it up, press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds to drain any residual power. Again, this makes it a lot safer to work on and greatly reduces the risk of damage to the computer. So we're going to hold it for a few more seconds. Alright, I think it's already been about 15 seconds. You can hold it a little longer if you want, just to be extra safe. Okay, we're going to remove this connector here so that we can have access to the fan. Right, so we got it here. We're going to go from corner to corner here and just kind of wiggle as we pull. Same thing over here. There's an adhesive under here, which is like a foam adhesive, and usually that thing just tears. So probably don't need to worry, but we're just going to slowly pull it up and see if it stays. Oh, actually, okay, it didn't tear. You can see, and you see the adhesive there. And that's one of the ways that Apple knows if you peeled this up, I guess. But you could always like peel this stuff off and then put a new adhesive. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and undo these screws. Okay, there's 4 screws holding this. We're gonna hold down here as we unscrew this as well. Also, there's a hidden screw back here that we might have to remove the wireless antennas to get to. So that's gonna be somewhat of pain, somewhat annoying. All right. Gonna get these 4 screws out. Let's actually get the fan out as well. Okay, so we got those 4 screws. We're gonna get the fan out here. So we got 1 screw here, 1 screw on this side, and then 1 screw down here. Okay, there's a little trick to getting the cable out, so you want to be careful while doing this. Okay, now that we got all 3 of the fan screws out. Alright, what you're going to do, move this flap up. There's a little adhesive holding it, so peel it up slowly. Alright, then what we're going to do, we're going to lift this slightly. There's a little latch here that we need to flip up. Let me actually zoom in a bit more for you guys. Okay, so there's a little latch here you need to flip up. I use my fingernail to do this. You can use a little plastic tool if you don't have fingernails, something like this. And you can kind of like get the edge and kind of just twist it to pop it up just like that. Again, usually I just use my fingernail, get in there and flick it up like that. Then you want to get underneath with your finger and hold the bottom of this cable onto the fan. So pinch it in like that. I don't know if you can see my finger under there. Okay, then we're pinching that cable, and then we kind of just wiggle it as we pull, and there we go. We got the fan out. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Again, there's one hidden screw over here that I think you can't get. Yeah, we do have to take the wireless antennas out to get to that. Okay, I take that out all the time when I go to replace the screen assembly. Anyways, for the wireless antennas, you want to go from the tails and then you just pull it up. Okay, so just like this, and just pull it up. All right, and just like this, there we go. Same thing with this side at the tail, and pull it up. Okay, I'm just getting underneath with both fingernails and pulling it up. You don't have to use fingernails, you can use tweezers or whatever works for you. All right, then we're gonna get this out. This cable is a little bit tricky to put back because it's routed along these, like around these screws and in these grooves here, as you can see. Okay, so keep that in mind. You are gonna have to put those back in there, and I will kind of try and show you how. All right, to remove this, you kind of have to like wiggle it as you kind of pull it up. All right, just like this, wiggle it, it gets caught there, and then pull this. Okay, and now that we got this out of the way, you'll see there's one T5 screw down in that corner there that we're also going to have to remove. Get the rubber out of the way, and there we go. We'll get this screw out. Okay, there we go. We'll set that screw aside. Let's zoom out here. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to lift this whole bar up, and there we go. Okay, the rubber piece actually stays there in place, and there. Actually, oh yeah, because part of it is underneath the motherboard here. The thermal paste actually doesn't look bad. I don't know why they didn't put any thermal paste on there, but we're gonna be putting some icy diamond here. You can use any thermal paste you want. The thermal paste actually doesn't look too bad under here, so I don't know if this will help or not, but we'll find out. All right, icy diamond does do a better job thermal conducting than a lot of other thermal pastes or any kind of diamond paste. All right, anyways, we're just using a clean paper towel. We're gonna wipe off this stuff. As you can see, it's not too solid, so it shouldn't actually be too bad. Usually I'll do this over a trash can so the thermal paste doesn't fall into the computer. So let me go off to the side and clean that up. And we're gonna do the same thing with this. I do have to hold this upside down over a trash can, so when I clean it, the crumbs of thermal paste will fall off into the trash and not fall into these components. So let me do that real quick and I'll be back. All right, so I'm back. You can see we got it all cleaned out a bit. Now I'm gonna get some rubbing alcohol. Oops, I should have went to get that first before starting the video again. But I'm gonna get some rubbing alcohol. Also, if the fins here are dirty, you do wanna clean that out, okay? Sometimes they get clogged up with a bunch of dust, so I am gonna just clean that out a little bit. Okay, we're gonna use this to kind of blow any of the stuff that got stuck or caught in there out. Random hair stuck there. Okay, so let me go get a bottle of rubbing alcohol and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Got some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. This is 91%. You can also use the 70%. Just make sure you dry it up really well after. So I just kind of get it on the paper towel like that. Okay, and then we're just gonna wipe this stuff up. Okay, just to clean that out. Clean that off, and then we'll use a dry side to dry it out. Rubbing alcohol, if you use a high percentage, actually evaporates really well, so it doesn't leave much residue. Okay, we're gonna also clean this one. Same thing, and you want to be careful not to bend this, so it helps if you have this on like a flat solid surface when you clean it, so like this. That way you don't accidentally bend it. Okay, so just wipe that up, flip it over. Clean that off, dry it up, and there we go. All right, so we got that all cleaned up. I'm actually gonna put the thermal paste along the entire thing. They don't do it on here. I'm not sure why they didn't put it on the smaller core, but we're gonna do that on the entire thing, okay? So you don't really need much thermal paste. You can see how tiny this surface is, okay? Is that a reflection or is that, oh, I need to wipe that better. Is it a smudge? From the angle I'm sitting, I don't even see that. Oh, okay, now it's a reflection. Okay, then we'll get the dust off. Okay, so what we're gonna do now we're gonna add the thermal paste. Again, it doesn't really need much. This thing is super thin, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go across the center and do like a long kind of line here. This is actually probably already too much. That's already too much. Okay, we're gonna put some over here as well. I'm gonna have to move the line around now that I got that paste out. Okay, so the paste actually spreads super thin, so I'm gonna rotate it this way, and then let me see if I can show you show you here how we're gonna kind of spread it around. So this one also has quite a bit when it spreads, so it doesn't need to go this far to the edge, because when the metal plate is on top, it's going to flatten it down and spread it out really wide. Okay, so this, we're going to kind of pull this along. Okay, usually it spreads out the wide way more than it does the, or sorry, up and down the length of it more than it's going to spread the other way. So there we go. Okay, I did add a little bit more. That probably was too much, but I think it should be okay. Okay, you don't want a crazy amount because you don't want it to just flood out over the edges, because you want the cooling to pull the heat directly from the cores here and not put the heat out into this green area. Okay, so we're gonna spread this very evenly. Okay, and also once you put the heat sink down, you don't want to lift it back out, because then you'll have to redo the paste or it will make a bunch of bubbles in it. Okay, so here you can see the paste, how we did it. So we have this line here, okay, and then there's the line on the smaller one there. All right, so we're gonna move the wireless antenna out of the way. Let me zoom out here. Okay, this is kind of the way. There we go. Okay, so I actually probably have to zoom out to show the entire thing. All right, so what we're gonna do, again, hold this. We're gonna lift this up and we're gonna reattach this. There's a hole at the bottom here, so the rubber piece needs to go into that. Okay, actually, I'm just kidding. The rubber piece doesn't go in there. So the rubber piece, it's hard to show this. So in between here, the rubber piece goes in between in this gap here. All right, this hole's for the screw. I was confused. Anyways, you put the rubber piece, the bottom part of it, through here, and then it wraps over the top. So let me see if I can show this. So you kind of wrap this over this way. Come on. Like this. Okay, so the rubber piece goes into that little groove there. I don't know if you can see it because of the lighting, but anyways, it goes like that. Okay, then we get this back in. We're gonna have to move the wireless antennas out of the way so that we can get the screw mount into place. Be careful not to touch the thermal paste with your hands, okay? You don't wanna smudge it around, all right? Then line this up, okay? And then to get this all in place, we're gonna get one screw here. Okay, oops, I'm smudging it all around, that's not good. All right, so get that down. We'll loosely fit that screw. Then what we'll do is we'll get the other corner screw over here. Same thing. I'm twisting it backwards to hear it go into place, and then I twist it down like a couple of times. You don't want to tighten it all the way yet. We want to make sure everything's lined up. Okay, second one. Same thing, get it in, twist 2 times. Okay, get this one. Twist 2 times. All right, then we're going to go over here to get this screw in because we want to make sure everything is aligned. Okay, so get this screw in and tighten this one down all the way. All right, now that you got that screw tightened in all the way, you can see the rubber piece here, how it's held into place, I hope. Oh, not with this in the way. There you go. Okay, just like that. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna tighten these down. So we're gonna tighten this side all the way down. Go over here, tighten this side all the way down. Okay, go to this corner, tighten this all the way down. And then go to this corner and tighten this all the way down. Good, get all 4 in. Perfect. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put the fan back in, of course. So make sure this latch is up. It's a little bit tricky trying to get this to go back in. Okay, get that cable in. So once you get it slotted slightly, you can go ahead and kind of slide this into place. If this cable's in the way, you can disconnect it first. We might have to. So I'm going to grab this cable and then kind of just wiggle it as I pull it, wiggle it sideways. Okay, just like that. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and get this in. Okay, line it up, get that into there. Come on. Okay, once you got it slightly in, it'll make it like bulge up here. So you just push down on that and that should help get that into place, okay? And you should just barely see the white line coming out of it. Then you slide your finger over the top to latch it back down. Good. All right, don't forget to put this cable back in. And then pinch the two together. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get the 3 fan screws in. We're gonna loosely fit them first to make sure everything is lined up. Okay, so we'll get that screw loosely fit, this screw loosely fit, and then this screw loosely fit. And then what I do is I kind of pinch these two together to kind of hold it as close to the heatsink as possible, and then we'll go ahead and tighten them down. There we go. Now we got all of that into place. We can go ahead and reconnect this cable. Make sure you put it the right way. As you can see, you have the shorter like L part here. So get that on, line it up, click it down, get this, line it up, click it down. There we go. Okay, next thing we're gonna get the antennas back in place. It helps to use a kind of a thicker one to help push it into place. So I'm gonna use something like this. You can use whatever bits you have, but I'm going to use this thicker flat one to kind of help push it in, right? I'm going to flip the computer over so it's easier for me to see when I work on it. Uh-oh, we got the screws in the way. I'm going to knock them all over. Okay, anyways, what we're going to do, we have the cable here. So you have to kind of pull this rubber up a little to get it out of the way. And then this can kind of go into place. Okay, and then let me use the thinner one for now. We're going to use that to kind of help pull this in. And then while you're pulling this antenna part into place, you have to also, again, pull this rubber piece up a little bit to help get it in. It helps to kind of use 2. I'm going to use 2 of the thinner ones. And we're going to push this in first, okay? And this one in. And once you kind of push both, it goes under the rubber piece. I don't know if you can see that, just like that. Okay. I'm going to switch back to the thicker one now, and I'm going to use that to kind of stomp it into place. Okay, you don't want to use too much force. You're just kind of like helping guide it back down into there. Okay, and then the one back here as well. This one, usually the edge here is kind of doesn't really go in, and that's kind of okay, but just get it as good as you can, just like this. Okay. Then we're going to continue going here, pushing this down. To get this in, you kind of have to push the, let me zoom out here so you can see what I'm doing. You kind of have to push this wire in a little bit and it will curl it around that spot, okay? Then while you're holding this down, you can kind of pull it a little bit to kind of straighten it out. And then continue going along here, just like this. Slowly kind of stomping it in. Same thing over here, oops. Same thing over here, kind of push this in, okay, and then continue going around. This piece, it's kind of went too far, so I'm going to use this tool to kind of help pull it back out a little, and then push this in, okay. And sometimes if it twists the wrong way, you might have to help twist it back up to make it go in the right way. So let me pull this back out a little bit. So I'm going to have to like twist this one a bit. There we go, and help guide that in. Nice. Okay, stomp this in. Stomp that in. Perfect. All right, so now we got to get these antennas back in. Did I lose one of the screws? 1, 2, 3. one of the screws disappeared here. I'm confused. Did it stick to a magnet somewhere in here? I don't see it. Well, I'll have to find it later. Anyways, let's go ahead and get the antenna cables back in. So this is a little tricky. Oh, here's the screw. It did stick to a magnet. Okay. All right, so this can be a little bit tricky. Let me see if I can zoom in here. So you got the short antenna and the longer antenna. Okay. So I don't remember if one has to go in the specific spot. I think, if I remember correctly, the shorter one goes to the further one, but I could be wrong. Let's put it, oh no, it's getting falling in. I should have taken note of it. Okay, we're gonna, yeah, I think the shorter one goes to the further slot, the one that goes further from the actual place, and then the longer one goes to this one. So it doesn't really matter as long as you can get them both plugged in. Okay, line this up. The way you know it's lined up is if it's on top and you try and like move it around, like you can see if I pull this wire, it's staying in place, then you know it's good, then you can click it down. Right, we're gonna angle it over to the side so it's going around the screw, and then we'll do the same thing with this one. Okay, line this up. Okay, make sure it's in and then click it, and there we go. And you can kind of do something similar, like angling this to make it go around, so that way it kind of goes into this. You can see it's kind of popping out a little, so I'll kind of angle it like that, and there we go. Now let's go ahead and get the battery back in and everything, and we should be good to go. All right, did I tighten everything good? Okay, let's zoom out more. Okay, I need to get rid of junk on my desk. I have way too much junk everywhere, so it's kind of getting in view of the camera. Okay, we're gonna now plug this one in. So you want to be holding this up. I didn't mention, but when I do the battery, I kind of tilt it up like this because this cable under here, I probably should have mentioned that earlier, because when you pull this back, it can get caught in here, and I've seen sometimes where that will break. So you want to be very careful with that. Okay, then we'll get this in here as well. Okay, then we'll just pinch the two connectors back in. Good. Get the battery lined up. We're going to get these screws back in now. Pretty simple, straightforward, and that's about it. We are going to do a PRAM and SMC reset because we disconnected the battery, but other than that, that's pretty much all there is to it. All right, we'll get these screws in. Oh, I think some dogs are going after the cats outside. All right, after this, we are going to put the bottom cover back on, and we should be okay. Okay, get that in, and get this in. So now we got all 5 screws back in. Good. Get the bottom cover back on. Make sure you reconnected everything. Should be good to go. Okay. And then we will now switch back over to the P5 or Pentalobe 1.2 screwdriver and get all these screws back in. All right, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, again, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You're welcome to stay as I get all these screws back in, and then we will do the PRAM and SMC reset. Okay, but other than that, we're good to go. Alright, so we'll get these screws back in. Alright, last few screws. And the last one here. Okay, let's flip this thing over, open this up. Okay, let's plug it in. Plug this in. So if the light is orange, we're going to do a SMC reset, Control Option Shift on the left side, power button, it'll go green, and then back to orange. That's how you know you did the SMC reset right. Now we're going to do a PRAM reset. To do that, power it on, and then hold Command Option P and R. Okay, you should see the screen kind of flicker on and off. I don't know if you saw that, it just flashed off. Okay, if I keep holding it, it should do it again. Basically the screen comes on and then it shuts off, so it came on, and if I keep holding it, you saw the screen flashed off. Okay, sometimes you can't see it, so if you hear the chime twice, then you know you did the PRAM reset already, because it'll restart itself. And that's pretty much it. We should be good to go. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Alright, we'll let this boot up, but it should be good. There's the Apple. Yeah, we should be good to go. Alright, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.